In a remote setting, one of the things many people struggle to include is student interaction and discussion. In this video, I'll discuss the use of blogs for remote discussions. For those not familiar with blogs, they're a bit like a journal that you invite other people into. They're usually viewed as a space owned by the one posting, with comments being secondary to the original post. They can be created by students individually using a number of platforms like WordPress, Wix, Blogger, Weebly, or even Edublogs, or have a student post on an instructor-controlled blog like the blog tool in your courses. In education, instructors often provide students with a prompt for their posts, unlike students who might be blogging individually on their own, who might be able to blog about whatever they like. It could be a particular topic, a question to answer, or a challenge to conquer. Students then post their response, which is often to include the use of properly sourced images, possibly videos, links to articles, or other sites. It may include responding to posts written by other students, and that creates an ongoing dialogue. Blogs can also be used to track a project and share progress and struggles. This is a great way to focus on the process of a project rather than just the outcome. They can be used to share an area of research or work, perhaps exploring research for a paper, reviewing sources, and connecting to a community. Blogs give students a chance to more deeply explore and share their response to a topic than something like a forum post, while also being shared with others, which makes it more authentic than an assignment handed in directly to the instructor. This can lead to some really rich and meaningful exploration, and also the development of communities of learners as they connect with one another through their blogs and comments. Blogs that are student controlled can also be part of a portfolio, which students can retain through a class, a program, and even past that. The discussion comes in the comments. You and students are encouraged to interact by replying to the post in various ways. You can ask questions of the person who posted. You can share ideas and encouragement. You can offer critiques. It can work well for sharing performances or products along with information, especially things like art. Also, you could provide suggestions for sources or related works. So why would you blog? Why use blogs? Give students a discussion that they're a bit more in control of and that really focuses on their experiences, knowledge, and reactions. That also means that if it's done through student-controlled blogs, students can take their work with them at the end of the semester, as opposed to it being purged. It can also encourage them to share with other students, and even potentially more publicly. That really gives a more authentic experience because they're not producing work just for you, the instructor. They're producing work for other students and even the general public, which means that they have to produce a different quality because those people may not already know everything that they are going to share. It also gives them a space to engage with topics that are part of a community of practice. Doing this publicly can, at times, result in others not even within the course actually joining the conversation. One of the other ways to have discussion is a forum, but they can be overwhelming, and especially if you have a very active class. And they're very much a community space that is instructor controlled. Blogs can feel more student controlled, especially if you're using blogs outside your courses. But even the blog tool in your courses is still focusing on what the students produce and giving it in a way that really makes it feel like they're all together in this. There are, however, some cautions to be aware of if you choose to use blogs. Consider carefully the prompts you're giving and what you ask students. Ask students questions that are open and will allow them to draw on personal experience or topics of interest. Do not ask them to answer a question with a single right answer, since that's not particularly interesting for anyone to read or interact with because there is only one right answer. You will be reading every student blogging about the one single answer. It will get very boring very quickly. If you're asking a question about a sensitive or controversial topic, make sure your students are aware of appropriate behavior. Talk with them about what it means to be posting publicly and the reality that anyone could search and find what they post, especially if it's outside of your courses. Also, think about whether the blog is public, available to anyone, or more private, like in your courses. Have some discussions about dealing with the public if you choose to go public. Discuss the possibility of there being someone commenting who is advertising something and is a spammer. And what do you do with those comments? The best suggestion is to delete them, and most blogging platforms do have ways to do that. Or How do you deal with someone who is commonly called a troll? Someone who's trying to get attention and saying things that they probably would never say face to face. They may be nasty, they may be unpleasant, and they may be posting comments that are really inappropriate in your class space. So talk with your students about how you might deal with that, especially if you're going to be posting about controversial topics. Will students writing on the topic or discussing a topic put themselves at risk? Now, this is both in terms of emotional safety, given that some responses may be problematic, or they may be sharing something that's very difficult for them to share. But also, topics that are controversial in a particular field could put students at risk for their current or future employment. Political discussions can also be of concern, especially for students that are international students, and they may be subjected to more scrutiny when they travel or even in their home countries. Also, be aware that for some students, public posting may be a problem for other privacy reasons. Be prepared with a backup plan and allow students to use pseudonyms if needed. Just make sure that you're open to students talking to you about their concerns. If the blogs are public, make sure you have some suggestions for students on platforms to use, like WordPress, Wix, Weebly, and Blogspot. Do a little practicing yourself so that you know what students are going to go through and you have some idea what it's like to set up a blog and actually post to them and comment, because you are going to need to be able to comment on their blogs throughout the semester. You may need to provide some support for students as they learn how to do the technical side of things. So look for resources like tutorials, good help sites, videos, and provide sufficient guidance to them on what you really are expecting to come out of this. There are numerous other ways for students to engage in discussion, so please choose the method that's best for you, your students, and the material you're covering. Blogs do take time and planning, but they can lead to very rich and engaging discussions. And being that there's something that frequently students are able to take with them after the semester is over, it's a good thing to consider what your students might gain out of it.
For more information and lots of practical ideas, go to our UR Courses Guides page at this link, shown at the bottom of this slide. Use the live buttons within the blue squiggle that we've added to this screenshot to navigate to the resources that most interest you as you move to remote teaching. This video was brought to you by Flexible Learning's Remote Learning Team. We are here to help.